You're listening to the Screw Podcast with Felicia Rose and A-Love. They're here to make you come on a journey with them as they indulge you in all of your naughtiest thoughts while navigating sex with nonchalance. And a whole lot of Crisco, of course.
Sneaking in the back door with dirty magazines. So your mother wants to know what all the stains on the jeans and
Welcome to the Screw Podcast with Felicia Rose and
A.a.
Today on our podcast, we have a very, very special guest and co-host. Welcome back to the show, Kamryn. Woo woo!
Woo woo! What's up?
Kamryn is a pansexual trans titaness activist and wrestler from Rochester, New York. She's also the host of a groundbreaking podcast, Tranos and the Lived Experience, and she is here today with us to catch back up again and discuss her latest episode, Golden Girl Glizzy. Welcome to the show, the woman with literally 25 different nicknames, Kamryn Ehlen Jerrel.
Yo.
Yeah. I feel like we need like a clap track.
I know.
I mean, sure.
We should invest in clap tracks. Oh my god, that is really hard to say. Stone clap track.
I do have a lot of names. I just thought about that. I really have a lot of fucking names.
I love it.
Yeah,
it's
I literally, whenever I intro you, I'm like, which one do we go with? You know what? I don't know this time, but I'm gonna just see what talks to me. You know,
it's a lot. I smoke marijuana, so it happens. I give myself regal names while I'm
as you should though, because you are a regal woman and you deserve all of the regal names for sure.
That's on God.
Absolutely.
And that's on God. Put that on God.
That's fucking beautiful. So I really was excited to listen to, well, actually last episode, because you just had a new episode come out on Monday, right? So
yeah.
So like the previous last week's episode, Golden Girl Glizzy, and I liked it. It was like there was a nod to the Golden Girls up in there, the death of Betty White, right?
True, very true. Betty White is a huge influence to me. She was always really kind and really funny, and I just kind of wanted to tie her in somehow. Like I feel kind of ashamed that she died, and I was like talking about my sexual practices, but like that's how it was. I was inspired, so I'm cool.
She would want.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of perfect. Like she was the first slut I ever saw like portrayed on TV, like a happy-go-lucky slut. Like what was it, the Mary Tyler Moore Show or something like that?
Oh yeah. I think it was the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Yeah, like she was great. Like I remember seeing her in a lot of like television when I was younger. Like she did a lot of cameos on shows that you don't really think about.
Right. Yeah. No, it's
right.
True.
Yeah.
It's true. Did you guys know that there was a one season after the Golden Girls of something like Golden Palace or something like that?
Was it like
no?
Yeah.
Wasn't it like they were in like a home or something?
No,
like they were in an actual
they
home?
buy a hotel. Like not Dorothy, not Dorothy. The other three, they buy like the mother and Betty White and Rue. They like
and Blanche Devereaux.
Yeah, Blanche Devereaux.
Yeah.
They
watch her mouth. How dare you?
True be that. Okay, well, but in essence, also the podcast is nothing about the Golden Girls. So I just say up front, thank you for like all the vulnerability and the honesty that was like in this podcast. Like it was definitely incredible to like hear things said and expressed that you don't actually like often get to hear.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I feel like a lot of the time people don't talk about like trans intimacy and like the fact that like you're going through literally a second like puberty and you got to figure these things out, and you have to also fight like self-repression. Like there's a lot of repression in my story, like where like I knew I was a pansexual creature when I was very young, and I fought the urge for 3 decades.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, and this is always for me, like, because I believe everybody's entitled to their, own definition of their definitions. What, like, when you talk about pansexual, what does that mean to you? That like the definition of pansexual.
The definition of pansexual for me is just like I'm not attracted to bodies. I'm attracted to like, and I know this sounds corny as shit. I'm attracted to energy. I'm attracted to personalities. I'm attracted physically to just about everything. So like I'm that's how I see it. Like I'm just I've and a lot of people would be like, I've dated everything. No, that's just how I feel. Like I've been attracted to so many different uh people that like
Mm,
I can't narrow my sexuality down to gender.
mm, mm. Yeah, I mean, like speaking of those people, I listened to the part you were talking about Casey Jones and Grace Jones, like
Yeah.
two beautiful like things, but I I was like, wow, that's two Joneses. Like, there's got to be a joke in somewhere there about sexuality and the Joneses, but like I couldn't pull it off in my head.
um
Your brain would go there.
right like that's I mean that's kind of cool though. I'm weird too. Um uh yeah, like I had like I think the real like the first time I really felt an attraction to what would be considered a masculine person was I was being totally inappropriate during a Ninja Turtles movie. Casey Jones
Yeah, the
from the
Ninja
Ninja
Turtle
Turtles.
information that got me. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
that's quite an interesting thing to shape your sexuality.
absolutely.
I was in the
Turtles.
movie theater on Waring Road in Rochester, New York. It was 1989. This movie had just came out. My mom walked us 4 miles because we didn't have a car to see this movie. And we get there, and I start having unpleasant thoughts in my pants about
And
Casey
it was
Jones.
it was Casey Jones, right?
It was
Yeah,
not
that's
April
so
O'Neil. It was
interesting.
Casey Jones. I
That's
didn't
so
even see
interesting.
April O'Neil.
That's
I
Um,
love that.
amazing.
I also had an emotional like relationship with Leonardo when I was a kid. Like I was like, if something happens to Leonardo, I'm done. Like so, I was a weirdo around Ninja Turtle.
Okay,
Interesting.
okay,
Yeah, we all have our shit, right? We all have our thing that we like we're really attracted to as children and like
absolutely.
they kind of it was our first tinge of feeling some kind of way, even though we weren't necessarily there yet, you know?
I
Absolutely.
just knew I really liked this person, and like I was like Casey Jones is just shit. And I didn't. Everybody else was like, yeah, like look, like he's using a hockey stick and he's beating people up. I was like, nah, that's not what I'm talking about.
I mean, look, like
I think I'm older than you in the mind
you,
because that's exactly what it was. I was older than my brothers and sisters at that moment.
yeah.
Like I have a twin that's 26 minutes older than me, and I immediately became older than him, like more wise, more knowing. I realized in that moment that I was more aware of
Mm,
myself than
mm.
my siblings.
Oh wow,
Interesting.
wow, yeah. I mean, I want to point out you said like like corny earlier. I mean, you like I think it's a very romantic and very like sexy and like idea of pansexual and sexuality and being attracted to energy and like like as you get older, myself very much included, like you know there seems to be like it doesn't cut it just as any like one very singular definition of what you can be attracted to and what and the physical becomes like by then like you've seen it all like you want something more interesting at the very least, something that you can actually like feel something about and feel something for,
Yeah, whether your genitalia dangles or hides, I don't care.
exactly.
It's pretty much about an emotional, a spiritual connection to me because like I've had physical relations with people. I'm certain that that's happened. I've never had a connection with someone as myself that was 100% safe.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely, yeah,
That fucking breaks my heart. I mean, that's terrible. And
I mean, with that, yeah,
I feel like everybody deserves to have that safety and that feeling. And, I know we're going to delve into that in this episode, but like,
mm,
just as an overall, like, I'm just sending you my love. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. That's fucking heartbreaking for anybody that's going through that, to never feel truly one with yourself enough to, and then the safety. And it's just, that's a lot to,
yeah,
I think a lot of people, like you said, the sexuality part of the trans, I guess, experience, quote unquote, or whatever you want to say, is I think a lot of times it's like hushed to, at least when I'm witnessing, right, in my with my trans friends and whatnot. It's like more
Right.
like swept under the carpet, or like it doesn't matter how we have sex and things like that. It's like, well, it does matter. You matter. You all matter. We have to talk about it. Not we. You guys. You can talk amongst yourselves if you know. I'm just saying people need to be able to have a dialogue around sex in order to have healthier versions of sex. So
Right.
it's,
Absolutely.
I think that needs to be more. That needs to be brought up more for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like people don't talk about the fact that like as with my trans identity, like literally I have more experience with sex as a person I was disguised as than I do as myself.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Like I've only had sex as Kamryn once.
Sure.
Uh, when I was in Gabriel Saint mode. Shout out to my dead name. Keep that shit dead. I had sex thousands of times. I can't tell you a single time where I was emotionally connected to anyone.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and I actually like Kamryn. You offered like a lot of. I liked your contemplation after certain things, especially when you talked about like more open conversations with children. In terms of like negotiating safety and like and kind of being entitled to like have a more comfortable experience and knowing that you can ask for it. Like it,
Right.
you have like it was there are things that people feel like uncomfortable to say, but like you were very honest, and it was something definitely sentiments we try to like express on the screw whenever we can too. This is the reality. You can pretend it's not there, and you can wish it was something else, but this is the world, and we if we're going to be healthy, we need to figure out ways to do it better.
And
So
no, that's
I
my thing.
actually,
Like my thing is like how like, there's no person. I'm trying to do what no person did for me. Like so, I'm
right.
trying to provide a glimpse into what this life is and has been based upon failures of the
Yeah.
past. Like how much has like um being stealth and hiding and closeting myself for all those years, how has it affected me completely? It's affected me emotionally, it's affected me physically, financially. It has affected me sexually. And the reason for that is because conversations about what I am as even being okay weren't being had when I was young.
Actually, this is a good place. Why don't you play clip one? Because this is the first kind of honest truth you played out. Like I heard on the episode, and it kind of goes with what we're talking about.
with the with a cool ass name like Tranos, that I would be super comfortable with my body. I'm not. I never have been. Specifically, my penis.
Yeah, that's the God honest truth. I feel like my youth I spent a lot of time being a body snatcher. Um, I was piloting a ship that I did not have the directions for, and I did not want to fly, even in situations where I was attracted to a person and I wanted to be intimate with them. There was always I I own an appendage that I don't want.
Yeah, well, and I feel like everybody should be able to, and obviously some people won't, but like tap into the idea that like, how do you enjoy your sexuality if you're not allowed to feel comfortable in your body? Like this is something that like one can feel in all sorts of levels. Like from like weight to like body type to whatever, but like if you can't feel yourself and feel sexy in your skin, how does this play out?
Like the way I could describe it to people, a shout out to Anne Rice, is I was Lestat.
Oh wow. Okay.
If you're like an Anne Rice, like if you're into Anne Rice and you're
Oh
into all
yeah.
that stuff, like Lestat, like
Read the fuck out of Van Rice. Absolutely.
Gabriel Saint, who I walked around as sexually was Lestat.
That's a very interesting, and when you say that, it makes perfect sense. I think of it and I'm just like, wow, that's so interesting.
Lestat
So
was entirely afraid to be alone, entirely like just into the thrill of the moment, and it became a game, not something that they actually cared about.
Do you think that in a way you were sort of punishing yourself by sort of treating yourself with the lack of care and you know, I think sometimes like I always question, you know, when somebody's giving their going through, you know, sexual partners so quickly or something. Sometimes I feel like sometimes it might be a punishment, and that sort of is what resonated with me when I was listening to that, you know?
Sex was kind of just like an addiction for me when I was young. It was just like,
Yeah.
oh, I want someone to love me, and the only
Sure.
thing I know about love is that it can become physically, of something physical.
Sure.
I wasn't aware that like not being able to process love was a problem. Like
Interesting.
I was just like, oh, because I definitely could not love myself in that situation. No possible way for me to love anyone else. So I would put myself into relationships where I had a role, and that's the role I stuck to.
Mm,
Like I was the protector. That's what I
sure.
was. And the protector doesn't necessarily care about how you feel.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm,
I also like us. I had several partners tell me to my face that sex was all I was good for, and
It's
mm,
when
terrible.
the idea of them saying that to me and not knowing what was playing in my mind the entire time, that like I don't even like the sex that you saying I'm good at. I don't even. I'm not
yeah.
even there while it's happening. Like it's. I become Cameron S.
What?
Machina. Like I'm a fucking a machine.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're kind of putting this like cognitive dissonance between like you as a person and like your physical, um, you know, what you have to offer physically. And
I was
I think
I was
that's
definitely punishing
a
myself. I was definitely punishing myself.
mm,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, you one of the things you said you had physical desires, but not the emotional space to fill those desires. And
I think it
like,
was a mixture of both. I think it was kind of a mixture of
uh,
both because like I was mentally into that person at that moment. Everything about them sparked my interest. I was physically like aroused by them chemically, but like I didn't want to be involved in that kind of arousal. It was always a problem for me, and I couldn't tell anyone. And then you know
mm,
how like oh some guys will have that situation where like they can't perform in that moment because they're either nervous, anxious, something's going on with them. Like that would happen all the time, and people would just be like,
yeah.
"Oh, I think you're impotent" or something like that. I'm like, no, I'm just not physically attracted to the thought process of penetrating someone.
Mm. All right, this would be a good spot. Why don't you take a second and listen to the second clip?
A man costume on anytime I want it. That's a thing that I get asked about a lot. Because it's not that I don't get asked to have sex, is that I just don't have it because I don't feel comfortable. I have been propositioned for sex a lot in the last like 3 or 4 years, but those propositions always come with like fetishy.
Oh yeah, I'm still asked if I own a man costume all the time.
I was just gonna say the man costume,
Yeah,
like
what the fuck
that.
is that?
So
That was
so here's how it normally works, the gist of it. Like, there have been several times where I've went out and felt completely comfortable in myself, and in the proposition, someone totally boiled me down to being a man again. So, I'll be in a bar situation. I think I even spoke about the situation during the episode. I didn't really go into as much detail as I'm about to go into. So you're welcome. Um,
fuck
uh,
yeah.
I went to a bar and I was just out there to have a drink, and I felt safe that night. I felt like I was in a safe space, and a woman walked up to me, a cis woman, and she was very nice and she was super cool, and we were laughing and joking all night. And like I was planning on having one and leaving. I ended up sitting there and having a couple with her, and like we started up this friendship, and we like talked on the phone for weeks, and we like fucking like met a couple times for like lunch. I had been to like her house. I had walked her dog at a park before, so we were around each other, just like getting to know each other as what I thought was friends for like 4 or 5 months. And then one day I was over and it was just me and her, and like she just kind of leaned over to me and was like, I want to take our relationship to the next level. And I was like, yeah. She's like, but if I do, you have to be the man in bed.
What the fuck?
Wow,
So you
wow. Well,
listened to
what?
my whole life for like 5 months. I told you everything because I thought you were my first like female friend, like my first like girl but gal pal and shit like that. And the whole time it was you like revving me up to cosplay with you.
Did she explain what she meant by that?
She gave me a list of things that she meant by that. Like
Ugh,
one, keep a
Oh
shirt
my
on
god.
during sex.
Oh,
fuck that. Nope.
Two, if we're gonna have sex and I know a few days ahead of time, don't shave.
don't. Okay.
Three, no makeup.
Uh,
And four,
what the fuck?
speak as deeply and as dirtily as possible. So you prepared me an entire costume.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
you told me
There it
about
is.
this bitch before. Sorry.
There
Use
it
my
is.
language.
So we had the whole
Yeah.
conversation. I explained to her how that was like highly problematic, and
Mhm.
that no, I wouldn't be having sex with her. And I didn't talk to her for a couple of days. She apologized. Me being like, oh, I get my friend. Oh, we start talking again. Now she was a very attractive person, and I'm like, yeah, that's great, but like, you don't see me as what I am in this one
Yeah.
aspect of life. You don't see me as what I am. So we had conversations
Yeah.
over and over again, and then eventually she weaseled herself into like becoming my first sexual partner. And what happened was she kind of like nonchalantly tried to make all of those things happen.
Oh wow.
And then I
Yeah. I mean,
realized it during coitus and was like, you need to get up and get out of my house.
hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you said that feeling of I don't want all of you, and like I was like, Jesus, like that is like people trading out pieces of us and trying to like Rubik's cube us into whoever they want us to be.
It's always like, can you put your dick back on? That's pretty much what it is. It's like,
Yeah.
can you put your dick back on, or can you like stop being trans for this instance? It's happened to me several times. There's another instance that was more recent. A high school girlfriend comes out of the blue with the whole like, you were the best boyfriend I ever had. I was like, well, I hate to say it this way, but when I was with you, you didn't have a boyfriend. And she was like, no,
Right.
I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about then when you were a boy. I'm like, no, that's the part you don't get. I was
Right.
Mm-hmm.
never a boy. Uh, welcome
Mm-hmm.
to the knowledge of your first lesbian sapphic relationship.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Like, think about it, bitch. I used to oil your scalp and braid your hair. We used to eat
Uh,
popcorn and
Right.
watch fucking girl movies. Your parents let me spend the night at your house. They knew what you did.
right.
Like,
Right. Right.
There you go.
I never we
Oh,
dated for fucking months. I never had sex with you. I
yeah.
never kissed you
Yeah.
other than on your hands or cheeks. I literally turned into like your like cute, slightly sapphic, older school girlfriend, the one who's teaching you about lesbian shit. That's
Right.
literally what happened
Right.
to you. And like, here you are, 20 something years later, aging my fucking self. You got what you wanted. You went after bad boys after you and I broke up. That's why we broke up. Because I wouldn't have sex with you in high school, so you cheated on me.
Oh shit.
Because I didn't want to have sex at that point in my life. Like, I was like,
Sure.
hey, I've been through some sexual assaults, and
Yeah.
I kind of want to make sure that what we have is safe before I share my body with you or anything else about
Absolutely.
myself. And we were only together for 6 months. Like, she couldn't wait 6 months. So
Damn.
she fucking cheated on me. And then, flashback to 20 something years later. And this girl wants me to meet her at a coffee house because she wants to apologize about high school. Yuck.
I love it when they say that.
Like, I want to
uh,
apologize to you about what I did in high school. I'm like, girl, I forgot about that. And like,
right.
if you want to go somewhere, so we went to a coffee shop. We had tea. She wants to sit on the same side of the table as me. She keeps trying to hold my hand. She keeps using my old
Wow.
name.
What the fuck?
I'm like, hey, sis, I gotta tell you this to your face because I feel like it's starting to get to a point of disrespect. There's no better way for me to explain this to you than like, hey, when you wake up in the morning and you put on panties, that's how I treated being like Jerrel. Jerrel doesn't exist. He's a pair of fucking thongs from the 90s that won't fit anymore. So I destroyed him. Like I burned him, and
There you
you got
go.
to stop bringing him up because I'm Kamryn. I share the experiences that you had with that person, but I was there too, so you don't have to use their name.
Absolutely.
And she's like, I'm just trying to understand. She started using a lot of words. She used tranny several times in the conversation, trying to explain, oh, I don't have a problem with trannies. Oh, wait a minute. Like, that's the problem. Like, you're being an entire problem now. Like, what was this? Like, what did you think this was going to be? Like you went out into the world and you got used by the bad guy, and now you're looking for the good guy, but the good guy was played by a woman.
Right.
The good guy was it's like one of the guys in some weird fucking twist, like plot twist. It's like a Shyamalan twist on just one of the guys.
Absolutely. Okay, this might be a good spot. Why don't you listen to clip 3?
Then, please stop asking in my DMs if I'll top you. It's disgusting. It's fetishy. Most of you don't even ask me anything else. That's like the one thing you say to me. And then some of you have the absolute nerve to get upset when I don't respond. Like,
really, nigga?
Like, really? Really? Like, you don't see why a person wouldn't respond to that? Why a trans woman wouldn't want to respond to that kind of attention?
I mean, like, for real, really, nigga? Like, yeah, I get a lot of weird messages. The traffic on my social media definitely changed after I came out. Like I'm gonna say it with my I'm gonna say it with my whole chest because it's the truth. My presence in social media before coming out was something of like an enigmatic kind of like threatening presence. That's what it was. And then when I came out as a trans woman, when I came out and told people what I was, I started talking more about my sexuality. A certain kind of man became totally attracted to the fetish of what I could become. So I got a lot of wrestlers who used to know me in the indies messaging me asking inappropriate shit, but not wanting to be seen, not wanting me to tell their secret. One of them was to the point of like being stalkery, like switch social medias to speak to me, like had a hidden account.
Oh wow, okay.
And would like ask like, why do everybody assume that trans women are even into men? What's the assumption there?
Wow, whoa, yeah.
Like, how do you even know? Like, I know I said I'm pansexual, but that doesn't mean that I'm like.
That's a good point.
I don't fuck with cis men at all.
Talk about.
I don't fuck with cis men at all. I'm still pansexual, but cis men are off the menu for me. They scare the shit out of me. I grew up in a world where I got to borrow a costume from the problems that they were raised in. Like, why would I want to? Like, no. Every time I've ever had a sexual encounter with a cis man, it was violent.
Yeah, I mean, I like how you said that you're no longer willing to negotiate the same way as when you were younger. You know, like that.
When I was younger, you could have said, "Hey, here's a candy bar. Let's fuck," and I'm like, "Bet." like.
Yeah, right. Like I like how you worded it: negotiating away safety, sexuality, and comfort.
Yeah.
Like that gave like a really like chilling, kind of thing down my spine. Like. It's kind of like it's kind of a very like it's an experience that like very few people can understand, but like I was very very fucking happy to hear you say it out loud.
I mean, like I said, like when I was young, like I came out, I was very aware of what was happening, especially coming from a space of like having to sit in rooms and talk to psychologists and all this other stuff about your feelings about being sexually assaulted multiple times. So that kind of ages you up. That kind of makes you like aware and like no sexual vampire more aware than Kamryn. I knew situations that I had to like negotiate things about me to stay safe in that situation or to stay hidden Um,
Mm-hmm.
Most of my partners don't even remember of these things that I had to like kind of like hyper focus on. Like one, like sexual encounters for me never happened in rooms with mirrors. It's that
Oh,
period.
okay.
It never happened in rooms with mirrors, no bathrooms. If
Uh-huh.
you have a mirror in your bedroom, I would find a way to cover it or turn my back to it. I didn't want to see who I had to be during that situation. I wanted to be able to
I
like
gotcha.
dissociate and become Kamryn in that situation, but was never fully able to. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had to negotiate sexual positions to make myself feel comfortable.
Sure.
I had to I mean like physical positions. Like no heterosexual cis female relationship that I've had was there a situation where missionary was a thing.
Sure.
I didn't want to look at them, I didn't want them looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all shame based upon like dysphoria, like knowing that my body didn't match what my mind was doing, and that I couldn't even share
Yeah.
what my mind was doing with this person, so I shouldn't be sharing my body with them. So it was just like, oh, I have to have this sex to keep them off my trail.
Uh, yeah.
That makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense. Also, obviously, heartbreaking, but it does make a lot of sense.
And my last
It's so.
relationship, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I was just want to like thank you for your vulnerability and like being so open and then like resharing it. I mean, you already discussed this on your podcast and to come on and answer all these questions. I just
No,
really
I
appreciate
like
it.
this format better. I like the fact that like someone's like prompting me to like really think about what I was saying. Because on my show, I just kind of say how I feel, and there's like it's just like a vomiting of emotions. So
Yeah.
I don't really get to hear it the way that others do. Because and what
Yeah.
comes out of my
That
mouth,
makes sense.
I immediately start criticizing how much I let go, or was I in the
Sure.
right space to be saying that? Or how could what I said have harmed someone? I think about those kind of things, and I don't really listen to what I'm saying.
Right.
Like listen to what I'm
Or
saying after the
Yeah.
fact. I just say it.
you do a
Yeah.
great job considering you're not listening to yourself.
Okay, this is a good spot. Why don't you listen to clip 4?
Just want to be respected, top notch. Just being out, just putting it out there, like to the person who was met for me. This is gonna be some golden girl glizzy. It's gonna be some prize glizzy.
I mean, I ain't lying though. Shout out to girl Galgo. That's the name of my penis.
Prize glizzy. Oh my goodness.
Like I had a lot of practice. I mean
Uh-huh.
to the girl slash they them slash I mean whoever is in the future, like I'm gonna put in work. It's gonna take a while, but I'm gonna put in work. But like currently, like me and my penis are on vacation in different parts of the world.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
That's
Like
Can
awesome.
I
the chemicals that it takes to keep me Kamryn satiates the appetite that was Gabriel. Period.
Ooh, interesting.
Like if I have to have a sexual relation with somebody, they have to be understanding in what's going on with my body. I'm 42 years old and I'm on hormones.
Right.
Yeah. I really liked how you, I mean, like you mentioned a relationship, wanting a relationship that involves sexual exploration together.
Yes.
Like I mean, isn't that the pinnacle? Like, isn't that, I mean, I think that just like I loved hearing that.
Like
It's everything that I try to strive for to have in my partners as well. Like
you can't
it's
walk
a
into this
big deal.
relationship with Kamryn at once again, almost 6 feet tall, um, this voice, um, almost 230 pounds, on hormones, and be like, oh, like I don't want to use toys or different role plays or things like that because like I don't have the gusto of a teenager anymore. Like some people like require like actual foreplay, like actual effort ridden,
Fuck yeah.
thought provoked like foreplay, like because it's not about always about like physicality. Your mind is there, your body's not
Sure.
always going to be there. you have to find a way to attune both of them. And that means you have to be comfortable with your partner to try things and not feel
Absolutely.
anxious and not feel like obligated to perform a certain way.
Absolutely. I mean, like, I'm a hoe. Like, I mean, I'm for down and dirty periodically, but like most legitimately, the best orgasms are like with somebody that you're comfortable and like able to like explore your limits, your curiosities, your desires with, like in a safe and like non-harmful manner.
Like orgasms mean so much more to me now.
I love how you talked about the difference between male
Yeah,
and
that was
female.
actually really fucking cool because I feel like a lot of people want to ask questions like that and it's nobody's business, right? But at the same time, hearing somebody explain it is just like it was beautiful. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it's a
Definitely.
difference. There's a definite difference. Before I think also playing into it the fact that I was not emotionally connected to myself. Before it was just kind of like sneezing.
Mm, mm.
That's what I could liken it
Yeah.
to. It was like,
Wow.
and it's over with compared to what it is now.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Like what it has to be now is it has to be supported by my like true willingness to be in the situation. One, two, it has it takes time because I am literally by myself when it's happening now. So like
Sure.
it takes time and I'm allowed to be in that space and I'm allowed to feel secure in that space because it's just me and I'm the only person I have to contend with. And um and now when it does happen, it's more meaningful to me because it's more about exploration and understanding of what my body is doing in the situation because I'm still in puberty. I'm still having
Right.
puberty. Like there's been definite changes in what's happened from the first time I took a shot almost 7 years ago to now. Like there's I don't make seminal fluid anymore. Not a
Right. Right.
thing.
Right.
Like if you're waiting for the fucking money shot at the end,
Right.
you better call in somebody else. I can't bring that heat. Like I can't. Like I don't bring that heat. Like it's literally a different
Yeah.
situation. Like the male orgasm to me was very centralized to just genitalia.
Sure.
There's a rush. There's
Sure.
kind of like a rush in your chest, kind of like that snappy high, and then it was over with. And this is completely different. Like this is
Yeah.
awareness of every zone, every erogenous zone in your body. It's knowing that you are in that space and you're safe, and knowing that it is about what you want to do, not about someone else. Like it's different. It's very
Absolutely.
different. Like it's from the crown of my head all the way down to my fucking toes, but there ain't no mess.
Absolutely. Well, and the reality is pleasure, like really, like for it to be maximized, takes like place in the fucking brain first and foremost, and like you can enhance your experience the more you like spread the wealth between like sensation, sex, and like your mind and body and like energy getting into it. It's like completely like like different way to be with somebody for some people, you
A
know.
part of it.
Well, thank you for answering the age-old question of who has the best orgasm. Thank you.
Oh, I would definitely say women do because it's more involved. It takes longer
Yeah,
because it's worth it. like
right. Well said.
Amen.
like if you're fucking getting in there and you're like not worried about like your partner like being satisfied, that's the first fucking mistake you made. Like retreat,
No doubt.
fall back.
No,
like
no doubt.
foreplay is
So
the secret that I use to not have sex.
yeah, absolutely. So how did it feel overall to put this podcast out there? How did you feel after knowing it was published and
I,
thinking about what was on there?
it's cathartic, but like it is very personal and like I just kind of want people to take time to like process like really what I'm saying.
Sure.
Like process what I'm saying. And I know a lot of the time people are like, oh, she talks about is the trans experience. Well, it's in the title.
Yeah. No, right.
So
Fuck yeah. Whatever.
I mean,
It's your life.
Seriously, like what?
right, like it's in the fucking title. So like don't be surprised if I talk about some trans shit. And that could be a bunch of stuff. That could be anything. And one of those situations that makes me a complete person is my sexual health. And if you ask me about my sexual health currently, I'm not living a very sexually healthy life,
but like the ability to talk about it out loud is what helps, and the ability to walk somebody else through like hey, this way that you feel that you can't tell anybody else about, I kind of get it. And
Right.
here's the decisions that I made that just kept projecting this pain that you're going through into 30 years of life.
Wow.
You don't have to do that.
Fuck yeah. And thank you for your service. Like, no shit. Like, thank you for what that provides to the community, because it's fucking real. And there's a lot of shit people have to sort out, and like understanding themselves and who the world expects you to be versus who we actually are. So thank you for that truly lived experience. So I'm gonna say play clip 5 because I have a couple funny comments after it.
Oh, it's just me taking a hit of that dank shit.
Right. I love that your show is it features like a strain nearly every episode, if not. And if I were to ask what is the strain that, like, I'm assuming you smoked up for this, right?
Yes, I am not aware of which one I am because that's how much weed I smoke. But let me I can actually look because I have a notebook of them written down, like with the times and dates that I fucking, because I'm a weirdo.
I fucking love that. That's beautiful.
What was that one? Granddaddy Purple.
Okay.
Yeah, like Granddaddy Purple's heavy. I think it's like a 31 THC count.
Holy
on the
shit!
scale.
You are fucking blitzed for this. That's amazing.
Yeah, I get surprise, guys. I get fucked up before these shows because can't nobody talk about the shit that I've been through and not consume marijuana. Like, I smoke weed.
Fucking men, sister.
I'm a very huge advocate of weed. I'm so glad that Rochester legalized it. Dispensaries are getting ready to open up here soon, and I'm a fucking wow.
There you fucking go.
I'm a fucking wild out. Like, I'm fucking like I love weed. I smoke a lot of cookies. Shout out to cookies. I don't know if we're gonna have to block that out, but I smoke a lot of y'all shit, so y'all should probably send me a package or something.
No, fuck that. We're gonna at them in this fucking post. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, like I put a lot of y'all shit on my show. I smoke from y'all pipes. I have your trays.
Yeah.
I talk about y'all weed for at least 35 seconds. That's right.
Let's collab that shit.
Yeah, let me get a tray collab, cookies. Let me get a tray collab.
Fuck yeah, there you go. The hustle. I love it.
I mean, like let me get a tray collab. Like you possibly get to meet a cool ass trans person. I get to try your products. It just sounds like a match made in heaven.
We gotta figure this out. We'll talk.
I mean, shout out to all the great growers and dispensaries out there. Like hit me up. Shit, what the fuck going on out here in these streets? I see y'all let white girls smoke and y'all give them money. Let me do it too.
Fuck yeah. There you go. Hey, so I really loved that you like dedicated the episode to Violet by Courtney Love. I was like briefly in a whole cover band where I was dressed up in a really slutty skirt as Courtney Love, not heels, because I've never been able to fucking wear heels, never ever. Like they like just looking at them makes my ankles hurt. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, that was like my era. That was
fuck yeah,
that's who Kamryn was in '94. Was like a mixture of like Courtney Love and like fucking Ani DeFranco.
Fuck yes!
Now you're speaking Aaron's language.
Yeah, like I was what is it? Closeted alt girl most of my life. I got the weird moniker of being like the metal kid when I was young, but like I grew up in that era. Like I grew up in like the Crow soundtrack era and shit like that. So like yeah, that song was very important to me in the thought process of actually talking about this, because that was a huge thing during my sexuality. Is music had to be playing. Like I didn't want to hear your voice, so like
You're like, get on
Fuck
Portishead
yeah.
right now.
yeah, I
Hell
fucked to
yeah.
Portishead, I fucked to Radiohead,
Fuck yes.
whole
Fuck yes.
9 Inch
Tool.
Nails, Tool, and like
Fuck yeah.
and the black girls and the black guys that I would be with be like, yo, this is fucking weird.
Fuck yeah.
I want you to feel as
That's
uncomfortable as I do.
Yeah.
So
I know. I like.
so creep
I
creep
played.
on repeat it is.
Yeah. Right. I played. What is it like? What's the name of the "Fuck You Like an Animal"? The 9 Inch Nails song. It has,
Closer.
Like, Closer. I played that like for my partner like a few months ago. A few months back, and like it's a song. It's intense.
It's a song.
I remember I fucked to a lot of 9 Inch Nails.
March of the Pigs is the song that I would choose.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yes.
If you're listening
yeah,
to this episode, make sure at this point in time right now, you pause. And then you pick up your phone and you listen to March of the Pigs from 9 Inch Nails. And then my last question after that is, doesn't it make you feel better?
Hell yeah.
Fuck
like
yes.
I used to get blowies, is what we used to call them back in the days, from Choppies. I used to get blowies from Choppies to March of the Pigs. I was a fucking detached little mammal. Like I was not sexually safe at all. I was just doing stupid shit. Stupid shit. It was the 90s and people were watching like fucking Queer as Folk and being like, yeah, I want to be a whore. Like I'm gonna break some rules.
I can totally relate to that.
I'm gonna wear velvet shirts that are only buttoned up to 3 buttons, and I'm gonna go downtown and act like a fucking vampire.
Hell yeah.
There was vampire clubs when I was young. There's vampire clubs where you just go and act like a vampire.
I fucking remember that. Yep.
Silk shirts and shit.
Aaron still has his silk shirts.
Not Chopper.
Hey, fuck you. I totally do. Kamryn, it is always a pleasure to have you on the screw. Like, tell us. Let's see. You have a new episode that just came out. What's the name of it?
It's Not Less Than.
What are you speaking of?
It's just kind of like a call out to other trans and gender expansive people to realize that like you're not less than. Like people are going to treat you less than now. Relationships that you used to have before are definitely going to change because of who you are, and you have to know right up front before you start beating yourself up or being gaslit that you were never less than.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Like if you need somebody to fucking like bully someone back for you, that's what you have to do for yourself now. You can't wait for some hero to come and save you as a trans person. Like you have to stand up for yourself. And a lot of us are going to get beat up because of it. A lot of us might die because of it, but like it has to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Solidarity.
Okay, so another episode that'll make me cry. Check.
I mean, I provide you. I'm the weed sommelier. I tell you what to smoke before I start talking.
No doubt.
I still cry all the time. You can tell me to smoke crack and I'll still cry during your episode.
You smoke this Granddaddy Purple, your ass gonna be too busy trying to fall asleep afterwards. You're gonna be processing this shit through dreams, which is how I build this thing. I'm literally trying to influence your dreams. I'm trying to become the trans Dreamwalker.
I love you. I love you.
Did you just come up with another title?
Yes, I did.
Trans.
I'm high. I also caught my penis Girl Galdo, so make sure you're right
there. Yeah, make sure that gets highlighted somewhere.
Every time I unleash this thing, they should play the fucking soundtrack from Wonder Woman. The fucking yeah, that shit. Play that shit.
They totally
like loud as fuck. I give those like hints about, and I talk about those strains in the beginnings of the episodes, because literally I'm like telling you, oh, this is the level of marijuana you're gonna need to imbibe to even fuck with me during this episode.
I fucking love that. That is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Kamryn, tell
Well,
us where
thank
we can
you.
find you online. Give us all of your information so everybody can stalk you properly.
I'm getting fucking blocked right now. So let me let me say this. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on wait a minute. Let me pull it up because I'm old, guys. I'm sorry if you have to wait a couple seconds. On Twitter, it's at the Tranos, which is capital THE, capital TRANOS. On Instagram, check me out at Tranos Lives, which is all lowercase TRANOSLIVES. And on TikTok, the username is the Tranos, all lowercase THETRANOS. Hit your girl up, message me, send me a package.
Right.
Nickel.
Thank you again so much, Kamryn, for being on the show. As always, you are a wonderful guest, co-host, everything that we need and more. We love you so much. Everybody, check out Kamryn's podcast on newqueerorder.com and or anywhere you listen to podcasts. It truly is amazing. It's insight into, Kamryn's life, which is all sorts of a big roller coaster that I can't help but want to listen to more and more. And I've fallen so much in love with your podcast. It's so wonderful. So thank you for letting it be a part of New Queer Order. And anything, Aaron, you want to add before we go?
No, keep on singing.
Keep on
singing.
Keep on singing.
Legit.
Keep on trucking.
I mean, it's music to my ears. It's always I like shit that makes you think and evoke, and you're fucking funny as hell. I fucking laugh out during many of the podcasts in a way I'm usually too high to find something funny, and you get me. I think I'm smoking the right strain when I'm listening.
I'm trying to tell you, I'm a sommelier. Let the world know. Talk to your local dealer and tell them to hook up Cam. Give me a spot. Give me some sponsorship with your goofy ass.
Fuck yeah.
with your goofy ass. I'm sorry for insulting you. I'm sorry for yelling, but you're being goofy. Hire me.
Fuck yeah, indeed. Much love.
Every other Monday at 6 a.m. Just check us out everywhere podcasts are streamed. NQO for life, you bitch.
Hey.